Hello, and welcome to the Season 3 premiere of Hornet Nation. I'm Josh Sirota.
And I'm Hallie Fox. On this episode, we find out what it's like to be a goalie for our varsity soccer team, sit down with Josh Lupascu to talk about powerlifting, and recap the fall sports season. Let's get started.
Tim Howard, Casey Keller, and Nolan Krause. What do these three soccer players have in common? They're all outstanding goalkeepers. Today, Matthew Adle takes us out to the soccer field to see what it's like to be a goalie in this edition of In Their Shoes.
Hey, I'm Matthew Adle, and I'm definitely not a soccer goalie. But today I'm going to get in their shoes with our varsity soccer goalie, Nolan Krause, to show you just how good our athletes really are. Welcome to the show, Nolan. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So what first got you into playing soccer?
Well, I saw soccer on TV, and it was one of the rec sports at SESA, so it was good.
So what made you want to be a goalie?
I wanted to be a goalie because I like to be isolated, and I thought they could make big plays.
So why don't you show me some of the basics?
Okay, so basics. You're supposed to stay in position, so if the ball's over there, you're over here in the goal. As the ball goes over there, you shuffle across, and when you catch the ball, you want your hands up top, not in a W, but on top of the ball, so it's like an O.
All right, so let's do a little competition.
Competition, all right.
All right. Thanks again for being here, Nolan.
No problem. My name's Nolan Krause, and you've been in my shoes.
Apparently, being a goalie is a lot harder than Nolan makes it look. Thanks, Matthew.
With the winter sports season in full swing, the fall season has now come to a close. In this recap, Dan Shantz looks back on how our Hornets performed.
It's been another great fall sports season here at Saline, full of positive records and championships. Let's get a look at how each team did. Starting us off is the football team, who finished 11-1, losing by 1 point in regionals to the state champions Cass Tech. For the first time since the 1980s, the volleyball team went to regionals, taking second place. Our girls swim and dive teams splashed their way into third place in the state, with big wins from Cameron McPherson, Maddie Luther, and the 400 relay team. Boys water polo managed to fight their way into regionals, but lost to Pioneer 9-7 in the first round. The cross-country team recently ran at Michigan International Speedway, where the girls took 9th in the state and the boys brought home a huge runner-up trophy. The girls' golf team drove their way into 5th place in the state this season, with a final score of 661, just 43 strokes behind first place. After making it to the regional semifinal, the boys' soccer team lost to Salem after controversial calls in a 2-1 game. Placing 4th in the SEC was the boys' tennis team, with the best season that they've had in the past 10 years. After an impressive ride, Coach Lori Araula and the equestrian team took 3rd in the state. Congrats to all the fall teams on their seasons. We're now looking forward to what our winter teams will do. I'm Dan Shantz, now back to you in the studio.
Congratulations to all of our fall sports teams, and best of luck in the future.
The winter season has now started, with several teams already playing matches over the course of the past few weeks.
This week, the boys basketball team played Northville and lost 50-43. The girls team also played Northville, losing 60-37. Both teams are back in action as they take on Plymouth tonight at 7.
To most people, weightlifting is just a way to train for a sport. To Josh Lupascu, it's just as important as any game. And this year he hopes to share the school's bench press record of 405 pounds. Matt Clark sat down with Josh to talk about how powerlifting has affected his athletic career.
Josh Lupascu is one of Saline's strongest athletes. This year, he hopes to shatter the Saline High School's benching record of 405 pounds. We sat down with him to see how he got into lifting and how he plans to accomplish this goal.
Well, I began in the middle of my 8th grade at middle school gym. And then from there, as I reached the high school since freshman year, I've been just going at it since. My top 3 would be bench. My second would be deadlift. And my third would be squat. My goal is to get to 4 or 5 and achieve much higher than that.
With training being a huge part of Josh's life, he became inspired when he was younger on the football team by seniors. Now, he trains up to 6 times a week, inspiring many others himself. We talked to him about how training affects his life and what it means to him.
Currently, my last max on bench was currently 355. My deadlift was, I believe, 585, and my last squat was 475. It means almost like everything to me, because everything you do in life, it's almost like lifting, because lifting is always bringing you ups and downs, and that's the way how life is, you know. Life can always be really stressful a lot of times. Lifting in like the weight room, it's almost like therapy. Like it's always a stress reliever. Honestly, my favorite thing about lifting is like when I can just take all the anger and just put it all out on the weights.
Signing out for Hornet Nation, I'm Matt Clark.
Thanks, Matt. Josh plans to break the 405-pound record, which is currently held by Ross Kahn and Kyle Schuler in his fitness class this spring.
Well, that's all for this episode. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and also check out our video highlights from the fall season on SalineHornets.com.
We look forward to covering Saline athletics as it turns over to the winter season. Make sure to join us next Friday as we meet the boys' varsity basketball team, get hyped for the winter hockey season, and meet Kathy Mutter, the girls' varsity competitive cheer coach.
Make sure to stay tuned after the credits for an SHS Today promo for their upcoming season premiere. Have a great weekend, Hornets.
You can take my heart, but
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Nerd News.
I'm bringing you top tips.